Voice options mounting considerations for the Rehadapt L3d line. This mounting system uses the Universal Device Socket, or UDS, that will attach to a variety of device adapters. After this video, you'll be able to identify the major components of the L3d system, explain 4 considerations for safe positioning of the device, and select a safe location to attach the base clamp to the wheelchair. Let's take a look at the UDS. The UDS, or Universal Device Socket, is the component that secures the adapter for whichever type of tablet you're using to the mounting system. So you want to make sure when you attach the device adapter plate into the Universal Device Socket, it's in there nice and securely. You'll hear a click when it locks into place. The little black cap on the locking pin will click when you place it in there just right. Now this white case that you see with the Bluetooth speaker on the back is called the Chat Wrap. It's a really nice sturdy iPad case and speaker combination. It has its own device adapter that attaches right on the back of that speaker. It's real simple. You need to just line up the holes on the device adapter for the Chat Wrap. Just line up those 2 holes in the back of the speaker and use a Phillips screwdriver to tighten those down. And that's it. When we're positioning a device, it's very important that it's always presented in a consistent, stable location. That way, it's comfortable for the user. One way is to accommodate that is to take advantage of this nice feature on the mount. They have this pin, and this pin corresponds with the hole or the groove. So you see whenever any attendant places the device, it always gets locked back in the same position. You shouldn't have to adjust it often once you get it set up. No matter where it comes from, you'll see it drop in, and then you still want to lock it to make sure it's nice and secure. How far away should the device be positioned from the user? Generally speaking, the closer the device is, the more accurate someone is with selecting on a tablet. Alright, the next question is, should I position the device to the left, the right, or the middle? Usually the middle works well if someone wants to use both hands to make selections on the screen. You might look at moving it over to the left or to the right, depending on which hand is dominant, and we want to make sure they can reach all 4 corners of the screen. Usually the device can be mounted to either side of the chair and reach across. One thing is important to keep clear of the joystick and any controls when you're positioning a device. Remember, everyone's needs are different, and this mounting system is very flexible. Just make sure you're considering how far away it is, where it is, left and right, and keep out of the way of those joysticks. Alright, now the fun part. Where are we going to attach our L3d mounting system to? You can use the super clamp to clamp it to a table, a bed, or a desk. This thing will attach to both square or round tubes. Very versatile. Or are we going to attach it to a wheelchair frame using one of the frame clamps as our base mount? On a fixed or non-tilting wheelchair, you need to find a sturdy tube or a part of the frame that is not an armrest or a leg rest. And if the chair tilts in space, whether it's power or a manual chair, you need to make sure you attach to a piece of the seat rail so the entire mount tilts with the seat. Otherwise, it might hit their knees when they tilt. Your most common wheelchair tubing is going to either be round with a tight fit needing a side mount or a pinch clamp, or a channel or a T-nut. On most of your manual wheelchairs, you're going to be working with a round tube, and this round base mount clamp works great. Anywhere you can find a section of the frame where you can easily get your hand around it, That's going to be your simplest solution, just using this round base mount clamp. These two pieces just come apart and they bolt together around the tube, sandwiching it just like this. Now sometimes you're going to run into situations where you can't get your whole hand around the tube. That's when this side mount or pinch clamp works well. You can see it leaves room above if you had an accessory or a seat pan or something in the way. Oftentimes you need to get it into a tight space, and that's when this pinch or side mount base clamp works great. On your higher end mobility chairs, you'll find these slots or channels along the seat rail. Here we have another power tilting wheelchair with a seat rail that utilizes a channel to secure things like your device mount. This one's going to use a different size T-nut that's going to slide in this channel, and then you're going to bolt your base right here. Very similar to the other one. This one, you'll notice there's some hardware that's blocking access to this channel, so this will need to be removed before you can put that in. So you're going to need to decide what's the best way to get access to this. Once in a while, you run into a situation where you have this, or you'll have an armrest piece that needs to be slid out of the way before you can put this piece in. That's just one of the hazards of working on chairs. You need to make sure that whoever's doing that is comfortable and competent to be making adjustments and moving pieces on your wheelchair. Once you've attached the first section of your base mount clamp to your chair, you'll notice it has this grooved surface that matches up with the outer portion of the base mount clamp. That's where your first piece of pole is going to be inserted. Insert the first piece of the tubing into the base mount clamp. Be sure that the pivoting component on the top is directly underneath the iPad so that the vertical section goes straight up and down. Okay, so notice this is set up for a pretty high position for someone using the device. The nice thing about all of these adjustable handles is you can get lots of adjustment wherever you need them. One of the things, you may not want to have this piece so high up. It might get in the way when you want to transfer out of your chair. So one of the things that you might do to reduce that, if you wanted to bring the whole device down lower, is if you brought this piece in a lot lower, down like this. Now remember, this is not okay. You cannot have it at this angle. That's not safe. That could pop out. But as long as it's up and down, and nice and secure there, you can always get some more height this way if you need to. But there's lots of different positions that you can try. Just needing to remember that this vertical pull should be nice and straight. You can play with the lengths, bringing it out, bringing it forward, as you can see with all of those adjustable arms. It's really going to depend on the position needs of your client.